John Henry Turpin, born August 20th, 1876, enlisted in the United States Navy November 4th, 1896. Turpin was one of the 90 out of the 350 sailors that survived the explosion aboard the USS Maine on the 15th of February, 1898. During his tour aboard the USS Bennington, Turpin reportedly saved 3 officers and 12 men by swimming them to shore one at a time after a boiler explosion. After leaving active duty in 1916, the U.S. entered World War I, and Turpin was recalled to service on June 1st, 1917, becoming one of the first African-American Chief Petty Officers in the United States Navy. In 1925, Turpin retired at the rank of Chief Gunnersman.
For Harriet Pickens and Francis Thorpe, December 21st, 1944 was one of the most exciting days of their lives. It was the day they were commissioned as officers in the United States Navy. These 2 accomplished and well-educated women were more than qualified to serve their country in a time of war, with only their race standing in their way. However, the remarkable pair would help to tear that barrier down. Sworn into the Navy as apprentice seamen to being in the last class of the Naval Reserve Midshipman School at Smith College in Northampton, Massachusetts. From the fall of 1944 onward, the Navy trained roughly 1 black woman for every 36 white women enlisted in the waves.
The untold story of naval ships with African-American crews during World War II. The USS Mason, DE 529. The USS Mason was the second ship to be named after Ensign Newton Henry Mason. The ship launched November 17, 1943 at Boston's Navy Yard, Pier 6. The ship wasn't commissioned until March 1944. The USS Mason was a destroyer escort with 6 officers and 150 black enlisted men. By the time the Mason was decommissioned, all the Chief Petty Officers were African American. The ship escorted 6 convoys across the North Atlantic. The Mason was called Eleanor's Foley, a reference to First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt, a vocal advocate of desegregation of the armed forces. The ship's Caucasian captain, Bill Blackford, affectionately referred to as Big Bill by his crew, was the great-grandson of abolitionist Mary Berkeley Minor Blackford. The Mason was sold for scrap in 1947. The crew members of the USS Mason did not receive acknowledgement from the Department of the Navy. After years of fighting for recognition for achievements in February 1995, surviving crewmen were awarded letters of commendation for their meritorious service and steadfast devotion to duty. Over 150 African Americans served in the U.S. Navy during World War II. The USS Mason DDG 87 was named in honor of the African Americans on DE 529's crew. In 2004, Proud was released. It was a DVD based on the true and historic story of the USS Mason.
Carl Maxey Brashear was the first African-American Navy diver. He was born on January 19, 1931 and passed away July 25, 2006. Brashear was born and raised in Kentucky and was sixth of 8 children. He enlisted in the Navy on February 25, 1948. When he got to dive school, he was faced with hostility and racism from his shipmates. During a bomb recovery operation on March 23, 1966, a line broke loose, causing a pipe to strike Brashear's left leg. He was evacuated before eventually having his leg amputated due to infection and necrosis. For his service in helping to retrieve the bomb, Brashear was later awarded the Navy and Marine Corps Medal. After a year from recovering and rehabilitating from the amputation, he was assigned to Harbor Clearance Unit 2, dive school, preparing for full active duty. On April 1968, after a long struggle, Brashear was the first amputee diver to be recertified as a U.S. Navy diver. He served more than 10 years after and achieved the rating Master Chief Petty Officer. After Brashear retired from the Navy, he then served as a civilian employee from the government at Naval Station Norfolk and retired in 1993 with the grade of GS-11. A movie was made on Brashear's legacy titled Men of Honor. He will forever be remembered for what he did and the hardships he had to overcome during his time in the Navy.
Airman Carlos Carl, born July 3, 1958. President Eisenhower was in office, and the Everly Brothers was on the radio, with their song, All I Have to Do Is Dream. An exciting and confusing time during the 1960s. The young man grew up during the bulk of the Vietnam War. And in 1979, Mr. Carlos enlisted in the United States Air Force, starting his career in boot camp in San Antonio, Texas, where he was a flag guide, and invited to pararescue. Their motto, so others may live. One of the worst moments in the airman's career was while he was fighting a fire and up on a roof, where the structural integrity of the roof gave and he fell through. A typical day for the airman was working on fire trucks or with aircraft, such as the C-5 and the C-141. Some of his favorite times was with the squadron football team, winning the championship, and becoming the base tennis champion. Places that he had stayed were Okinawa, Japan, and Travis Air Force Base, California. After a 4-year contract, he concluded his time with the military in 1983.
In celebration of African American History Month, I chose Fleet Master Chief April Beldo. She is from Lancaster, California, and she joined the Navy in 1983. She went to boot camp in Orlando, Florida, and from there she went to QB Point in the Philippines to the VC-5. She then went to A school as an AZ. She's an unstoppable trailblazer. She is the first of many. She was the first female Command Master Chief on board the USS Carl Vinson. I believe she was the first female Master Chief at Great Lakes. She is the first female Fleet Master Chief. She's currently at Manpower Personnel Training and Education as the Fleet Master Chief. She ran into a lot of the same things that I ran into being one of the first female enlisted on board the USS Fife. Our male counterparts wouldn't speak to us. They wouldn't share the P-way with us. They didn't want to work with us. Largely in part because of the warnings that they were given. But she dealt with it almost in the exact same manner that I did 10 years later. She kind of just said, hey, you know what, guys, I'm just like you. I'm here. I'm here to work. I'm here to do the same job that you are. So let's work together as a team. Let's do this. Master Chief Beldo in person is amazing. She has broken down just about every barrier, I think, that the Navy has thrown at her. Her energy and her enthusiasm, her outlook on life, having seen her in person, really gave me a different outlook. My favorite line that she said was, "Don't let them disturb your peace." I know that that's not an exact quote from her, but the fact that she uses that, and also my face is not a roadmap. When you worry, you get wrinkles. Master Chief Beldo, her face is amazing. She has no wrinkles, and she's been in the Navy for almost 30 years, 32 years actually. So that's why I chose her. She's amazing. She is an example for us all.
So I chose the Command Master Chief, Sampson. Command Master Chief joined the Navy August 23rd, 1988, when he left boot camp, came from a small town like I did. When he started his career, he started just like everybody else did, E1, bottom of the barrel, just like I did, and like I'm doing, he waited to take his E4 exam. And just like all of us out here, who are E3 and below. We party, we enjoy our time. Just he did the same thing. At the time he wanted to take E4, the chain of command basically handed him a test and said, "Here you go." Now he passed it, but it wasn't high enough to make rank. So after that, he started looking at evals. He wanted to know what they were, why they were here, how they affected his score. After that, he made every rank the second time up, except for 2. It took him 6 times to make first. And it wasn't that he wasn't a hard worker or he didn't have good evals, it was just low advancement. And he's always had a really good work ethic. After 6 times, he made first, and then the second time up he made chief, and so on and so on. Master is the only one he made the first time up. And part of what inspires me is the fact that he could have given up several times. I mean, testing 6 times, after the first 3 or 4, most of us would give up, and he just never gave up. He's always strived to work really hard at everything he does. Always looked out for the little guy, and his motivation was his wife and his kids, and there were certain things he saw he just didn't like. And he wanted to make a difference. He wanted to affect change. Yeah, he just works really, really hard to help people out like me. And it was really inspiring because when it's all said and done, he's got 26 years in. When he gets out at 30 years, because he just re-enlisted last year, he will have been a khaki for over half his career, 17 years, and a Master Chief for 10.
All right, so I want to thoroughly convince them. I'm not interested in just passing, okay? I want them to know by your actions, okay? I don't want to doubt in their mind, all right? I want to make it tougher on any other battalion when they come into the field, because NMCB 11 will set the standard. Hoorah! Hoorah! All right, who's better than 11? Hey! All right, one more time. Who's better than 11? Hey! All right, let's freaking show them that. Hoorah! Hoorah! Great job, great job.